The fall of modern dating. The fall of modern dating can be attributed to many things. A term I recently thought of to describe a widely discussed phenomenon is delocalized hypergamy. So women can now travel interstate, overseas, whether it's for weekends or weeks at a time, and meet up with men that are out of their league just for a good bit of bedroom fun on the weekend, while also avoiding the bad reputation that would traditionally come from this, because it's not really widely known by people in their community because it's happening somewhere else and the guy's less likely to be in touch with people from her hometown. You know, this is one of the biggest nails in the coffin when it comes to dating, is the fact that women can travel so cheaply and easily and also use technology to date men that they haven't even met. You know, that is a revolution in and of itself. Also, as a side note, I think that these dating apps, they're obviously not designed for humans to develop healthy relationships. I would actually argue they are designed intentionally to destroy the fabric of society itself. And I wouldn't even rule out the possibility that they are using AI chads to talk to women in order to incentivize them to use the apps. And I believe they're doing this to men as well, but they probably just have less motivation to do so because so many men use these apps anyway and are willing to skeet down to women below their looks level. But I think that a lot of the so-called people on these apps are just AI-generated bots with a fake face and a chat bot behind it. So they'll match with chads that always say the right things and give off all these signals that they're interested, but never actually want to meet up. And then the girls feel like they just got ghosted by a guy that was interested, and they become jaded towards the other men in their inbox, the real flesh men. You know, that's just one theory, but I wouldn't roll it out. Also, we have cherry-picked equality today. Basically, obviously, men are expected to maintain their traditional roles. We're meant to earn way more than women after decades of affirmative action and then pushing to earn more than us. While, you know, if men try and hold women to their traditional roles as a wife, then it is considered oppression. You know, and feminism has taught girls this from a very young age. They're taught that men who provide for women in the past, while women were able to live comparatively live lives of leisure, while men worked hard, laborious jobs before technology, we're taught in schools and in media that this was men oppressing women. And, you know, it's surprising how many people actually believe it, but a lot of women have bought it, and they have this resentment and hostility towards men as they grow up as a result of this. And if you do try and provide for them, they'll think that you're oppressing them. If you don't try and provide for them, they think that you're just not interested and you're just using them. So it's a double-edged sword in that respect. And another caveat to this is that there are a lot of men out there who love things the way they are. There are a lot of men out there that love the fact that women can completely decimate men in divorce courts. And there's men out there that would be all for it if women could cut off the man's testicles in public if she initiated divorce as a punishment. There would be men that like that because to them, you know, they'll always do what their wife wants. Their wife would never divorce them. You know, that's what they think. And they think that the fact that so many men wouldn't tolerate that, they see that as a good thing because all these simps could then stay in the marriage market and, you know, have a better chance because they don't have to compete against the men that have self-respect. And, you know, if you look at the divorce statistics, it's not too far off of that kind of a logic where it's like, well, what kind of men still actively choose to get married in the current climate? It's like, it's almost masochistic. It's like self-destructive behavior. You're basically giving a woman authority over you when women don't find that attractive. Women find it attractive when a man has authority over them. So I just don't get it. But I'm not against marriage. I think marriage is an important institution, but in its current form, it is just a complete joke. So anyways, let's compare the average young, attractive Western woman to a prostitute, you know? So I think in many ways that modern women behave more like prostitutes than actual prostitutes. They show their bodies to more people online using social media. So they might have bikini pics and stuff like that. If they have OnlyFans particularly, they'll be showing their bodies to hundreds, thousands, millions of people, where a prostitute would just be showing it to the one John that she's seeing at a time. So less promiscuous. One's more promiscuous, one's less promiscuous. There's a lot of women out there that will have sex with dozens and dozens of men, sometimes even like multiple men simultaneously, without using condoms, where a prostitute will always wear a condom. One is less promiscuous and one is more promiscuous. So I mean, like when it comes to spreading STDs and things like that, you know, it's a no-brainer as to what one out of those two options would be more promiscuous. Like if you're having protected sex, even though it might be with more dudes, but you're using a condom, that's less promiscuous than a woman getting cream pied by like 5 guys in a week. So the other girl did what, 10? It's still less promiscuous because they're using protection. Another thing to consider is a lot of modern women, even though they earn as much as men do now and even more in their 20s, they still expect a higher CPR, a higher cost per route than an average prostitute. And this can also be taken into account with men's expenses, where if you're spending $30 a month on a dating app, and then if you're a beta male, you might have to spend $100 on each date, and it's not going to be till the second, third, or fourth date that she even touches your PP. Or in the case of if you're a Chad, maybe you're dating down below your looks level and you get it for free. You know, and then I will say there is a Goldilocks period after that, where if you are that beta male spending $100 per date for a while, there would probably be that Goldilocks zone where there's that couple of months where it's nothing but bedroom fun. But yeah, that obviously doesn't last. So over the whole duration of a long-term relationship, you'll be paying a higher CPR than a prostitute. So a lot of women will more likely be fake than a escort. You know, they'll also more likely to fake love you. A escort probably wouldn't do that because, you know, that's not what guys are looking for with them. So it being fake and deceptive and manipulative, average women will get more out of this, because if you commit yourself to them long term, then they can reap more and more benefits out of you. A lot of women will have a lot more simps in their contacts and a lot more male friends. And, you know, they'll be talking to them daily, constantly. So basically, how things used to work is that a woman would have like one man that would kind of be in between an alpha and a beta. You know, he might have some very masculine dominant traits, but he'll also be nice and validate the woman as well. But now women can get that validation from hundreds of beta males through social media and dating apps, even though some of them are probably AI, and just soak up all of that validation and use that as an ego boost to then chase the men that are out of their league, that basically don't pay them any attention. And so it's basically created a bit of an extreme dating climate where there's just these simps that are competing over how many I love you beautiful messages they can send a girl they've never met, and guys that are ignoring women because they're not as physically attractive as them and just using them when they feel like having some bedroom fun. So it's pretty sad. Horrible. It's pretty fucked up. I just had a sauna if I'm sweating. So single women are also less single than women that are in actual relationships. So a woman who calls herself single in 2024 will likely have a handful of chads that will skeet down to see her every few weeks, and lots of simps for when they aren't available, or they want some validation, money, or an ego boost. And women who are in relationships are easier to get with because they're tired and fed up with their beta male always doing what they want. Or they're tired of their alpha male boyfriend not ever doing what she wants. So all you have to do is the opposite of what she's receiving, and she'll likely follow her emotions and willingly cheat on her partner to get with you. And I'm not condoning this, I'm just saying that's the way it is, and that's why so many men get cheated on now. Because if you are with a woman and she becomes your girlfriend, she's easier to get than if she was single. You know, and there's no stigma around women cheating at all. They can cheat on a man even if they're married and still win in divorce court. So, and then all the friends would be like, you go girl, it's empowering. Men are all pigs, horrible, oppressive people. You got cheated on when you were 15, so take it out on this guy. That's their attitude. So even if, right, you were to meet the perfect woman in the West today, let's say she fell from the sky, you met a solid 10 out of 10, young, sexy chick. What would you do to maintain that? How much work would it take to maintain that in today's world? Where she'll kind of expect you, in one sense, to be a complete slave and give her everything she wants. If she's not happy, it's your fault. She'll expect you to listen to all her problems. And at the same time, she'll expect you to tell her no, not listen to any of her problems, and to ignore her so that she doesn't think you're a pushover. So you can't win either way, unless you have a really nice jawline and you're 6'6". Furthermore, if you do meet the perfect girl in today's dating climate, she's probably just being a complete fake. It's probably just a fake persona that she puts on to get what she wants out of guys. Whether it's some short-term validation, a little bit of money from a simp, whatever the reason is, whether it's to make another guy jealous. It's very rare that you'll meet a woman that you really like, that has good morals and is consistent. See, like in a video game, we play video games, we like to be consistent. We like to consistently get better, power up, get more things. And it's very linear and stable. But you can't do that with your own life if you're in a relationship with a lot of these modern women. Because if they see you just gradually leveling up in life, slowly but surely, it triggers them. It absolutely triggers them, and they want to do nothing else but create chaos in your life. So a lot of the time we're dealing with women who might seem for the first couple of weeks, couple of months to be really nice and sweet, but they're hiding their sadistic tendencies. They want to destroy you emotionally, financially, and socially. Even if it doesn't benefit them in any material way, They want to do it just to know that they could. Just to feel powerful. To feel like they got a one-up over a man that they're taught from a young age is inherently oppressive and hates women, so on and so forth. So they justify this abuse towards men in their own minds in the sake of like they're getting revenge. You know, that's how they justify it in their sick, twisted minds, because they can't ever think of themselves as the villain. So they also want to isolate men. We can't even talk about what I'm talking about now in social groups. We can't talk about it in the workplace, really. You can't talk about it on Facebook or whatever stupid social media you use. I don't really use any except for YouTube. And you can't talk about it with the dudes in your family, really. I can a little bit because like my family knows who I am. But like a lot of guys just, they can't even talk about this, and a lot of guys will even get triggered. There's even guys that try and act like they're such alpha males, and when any criticism comes up in this respect, their reaction is to call you an incel, because they're still thinking in the terms of all that matters is female validation. They'll do anything, they'll become the most pseudo alphas you could ever meet with a completely fake persona just to try and make it seem like they are attractive to women. And it's embarrassing. So anyways, I'll wrap it up with that, but just remember, you know, life is actually really good when you're single as a dude. Not that you have to rule out having a relationship. You know, I still shoot my shot every now and then if I see an attractive girl. But video games are really fun, you know, and you can always move overseas. So it's not the end of the world. I think a lot of men that are like incels that have never actually experienced a relationship with a woman, they're kind of misguided in the sense that because they haven't experienced it, they don't realize that getting a woman is only like half the battle. And like after you actually get a relationship with a woman, that's when the negative things start to happen. Like you can just avoid all that if you want. Because of feminism, men, we don't have an obligation to fill our traditional roles either. And I think that, you know, there's very little satisfaction that you could get, that I could get, by falling into that trap in today's world, where it doesn't matter what you do, you'll still always be the bad guy. You'll have none of your natural authority. And at the end of the day, if things don't change, I think it would be a wise decision for men like me to just move overseas to places like the Philippines. But that's even if you want that life. Like, do you really want a wife and kids with the way things are in the world? I don't know. My philosophy is to not have kids unless you're debt free. Because I think raising kids in this world when you're balls deep or eyebrows deep in debt, and you're just going to pass that on to the kids, and they're not going to move out until they're in their 40s. You know, I'm not saying people who do that do anything wrong, but it's just not what I would envisage as an ideal life. Anyways, hope I'm not too black-pilled for you. I'll see you in the next one.